Anytime you have anything to do, bring everybody with you that you can remember who has loved you. And then you have that sense of having been paid for. And when you walk in, people will say, now, I think you're overqualified. Yes.
This is it. Hello everyone. A really special, summery, warm welcome to the class of 2020 London Contemporary Dance School Leavers Ceremony. Yes! My name is Claire. I'm the Chief Executive of the Place and London Contemporary Dance School. Over the next hour, we will say a few words, make some awards and say some special thank yous in honour of you, the students. This online ceremony is unprecedented in our 50-year history, and I am thrilled to be able to celebrate it with you. In fact, I made sure I had something to celebrate with you. I hope you've got something in your fridge, or you've got something that you can get and we can make a toast together right at the end. I want to begin by saying a special thank you to Rebecca, Venla, Georgina and Alyssa for driving and shaping this celebration today. And now to you all. You have made an incredible journey. As a result of your courage, your bravery, determination, and above all your artistry, you are about to graduate as pioneers, as people who have experienced on a global level the unimaginable, and you have come through it. I hope with a sense of pride and achievement, as this is certainly what the faculty and I feel for you. And on that subject, I would like to thank every one of the faculty for stepping up and meeting the challenges with you of this past term, but also their deep-held commitment to dance education and training over these last 3 years. So whilst we are not in the same room, you are all in our minds and our hearts, alongside your peers, family, friends and guests and fellow students from across London Contemporary Dance School. And like I said, I hope you might have a glass of something in your hand by the end, but also a rather glamorous outfit, either for today or for the future. So from here onwards, you will always be one of our illustrious alumni. And as I have said to all our graduating students, we will look to you for leadership, for challenge and support. There is no hierarchy for graduate success. You are all, without exception, successful artists and individuals. We are and will remain especially proud of just what you have achieved in your time here at LCDS, but just as much thereafter. So we are joined today in this special celebration by some of our most influential alumni, including our founding artistic director, Sir Robert Cohan, who has still been making work at the age of 95, and Dr. Anthony Van Last, OBE, who, in addition to raising thousands of pounds for LCDS students, is a global leading choreographer in the West End and on Broadway. We will also hear from Alethea Antonia, who, alongside Anthony and Bob, is an equally inspirational, relevant artist, but is certainly a few years younger. But she is just as wise, and she has an important message for you as you take your next steps. You, like them, will fold this very, very intense experience into your life and create, make and do many things, and we will always wish to celebrate your journey, whether that's in dance or outside, or if it's related or unrelated, we will celebrate you. Now, I've had the privilege of seeing the lineup of people who've contributed to this ceremony, so the order will be this. In a moment, you will hear from Sir Bob Cohan, and he will be followed by the three doctors. It's not Doctor Who, but it's Dr. Lisa Ertehuven, Dr. Anthony Van Last, and then Dr. Martin Hargreaves, before we see a montage of all of you, curated by Sasha. And finally, we will hear from Alethea. I will then join you on the other side to say a few more words to give some final awards. But for now, it's over to you, Bob.
Hello, everybody. Congratulations to you all for having graduated. I know sometimes it wasn't easy, but you will look back on these last 3 years as something special, I'm sure. Now, about the problem that you're facing now. It's hard to do dance with 6 foot between you. So it's a special problem, and I'm sorry you're going to have to face it, but hopefully it'll be all over soon and things will return to normal. But I'll tell you what it makes me think of. About 70 odd years ago, 1946 exactly, I came out of the U.S. Army. I had been in the Army for 3 years. I fought in Europe. I was in battle in Belgium. I was severely wounded, and suddenly the wars were over. I was out on the street in New York. Early spring, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had some association with dance when I was a child, and then more when I was in my teens. And then when I was stationed in England, I became friendly with several of the people at the what is now the Royal Ballet. So dance was not a stranger to me, but it certainly wasn't a way of life. Still, somebody I was talking to at the time told me to go to the Martha Graham studio, that this was what I was looking for. Well, I went in, I think it was like March or April. I took one class and I realized that they were right. She was absolutely right. This was what I was looking for. I decided that that was what I was going to do for the rest of my life. So I quit my job and I signed up for as many classes as I could right away. Here was my problem. I was 21 years old in New York, looking for a future career, too old really to have become a great dancer. I should have started when I was in my teens. But I decided I would do it and I would work as hard as I could. And I did. It was very hard work, but within 6 months, I was in Martha Graham's company. A few years later, I was partnering her, and I made a long career in dance. Such a career that I was able to create the school you just graduated from. So I know it's possible. I know also how dedicated you have to be, how hard you're going to have to work. But I recommend that to you. Dance has been a wonderful way to live my life, and I hope you can enjoy something similar.
Hello everyone, my name is Lisa. I'm the Director of Dance Studies at The Place and London Contemporary Dance School. Congratulations to you all, the class of 2020. You made it! Each one of you has shown a tremendous capacity for renewal. Renewal of your interest, renewal of your exploration of your body and your art, renewal of your practice every day of the week, a capacity to deepen your collaboration with other artists, and to perform with as much focus and energy as is required by each and every new audience. Your energy is boundless, impressive, and a force of nature. You will go on to achieve important and meaningful things in your life and in your career. What that means will be different for every one of you. We will see you all and continue to celebrate your successes, whatever shape they may take. Some of you will stay with dance, some of you won't. We see you, we support you, and we are rooting for you. The thing to understand is, it's not just about the dancing. The historian Yuval Noah Harari, in sharing his views about what skills humans will need in the year 2050 in order to thrive and survive in that time, he puts an emphasis on the 4 C's: critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. The 4 C's are all your strong points. Keep focused on making them even better. You will need these skills. Harari also says, the only constant in the world is change. As dancers, we deal with change all the time. Every time we do a movement, it will be different than the time before. Our bodies might feel different on the day, the space we dance in might be different, the configuration of the people around us will be different from the time before, and the sense of timing between us will not be the same. And every time we find a way to make the dance work in these new situations. We are very adept at being in the moment, thinking on our feet and responding to whatever the situation needs. We are good at improvising, letting go of any self-judgment that might be inhibiting our flow. We are good at creating something, then analyzing and evaluating it in conversations with others. This ability to navigate changing situations in the studio, on stage, or whatever space we are dancing in person or online, will help you to navigate life itself. I wish for you a life in, with, or through dance. Finally, before I finish, it befalls me to announce the names of the Cohen Scholars for 2020. These are 2 students who are going into their final year of study now and who have shown excellent levels of engagement with their learning process, who have been nominated by the faculty. The Cohen Scholars for 2020 are Leslie Avendaño Sanchez and Taylor Fisher. Congratulations to the both of you. And again, congratulations to the class of 2020. It's not farewell, it's see you soon, and best of luck in your next chapter.
Hi, my name is Anthony Van Last, and for those of you who don't know me, just let me tell you just a little bit about myself. I was a student at the school 50 years ago. In fact, I was one of the first batches of students ever. I then went on and joined London Contemporary Dance Theatre under the leadership of Robert Cohan, and I danced in the company for 10 years before becoming a choreographer and a teacher. I was actually on the faculty of the school for about 4 years. As a choreographer, I've worked mainly on musicals and movies and television. The kind of musicals I've done, like Mamma Mia, and more recently Tina, and films, Disney's Beauty and the Beast and the Mamma Mias. For 10 years, I've run a scholarship fund here at the school named after my mother, Peggy Hawkins, who was a great children's dance educator. I've kept very close ties with the school and am now a patron of the place. I've kept close ties with the school because I'm really grateful to the training I received here, and I'm also really grateful to the all-round education I received at the school. More importantly, enough about myself. Congratulations to all of you who are graduating. What a fabulous achievement. What a celebration of 3 years of really, really, I'm sure, hard work. Terrific. But I'm sure however celebratory this moment feels, there must be a sense of nervousness about the future. I mean, if you were just graduating, normally there'd be a sense of nervousness about the future, but there'd be an excitement. There'd be an excitement about the journey ahead, about the adventures ahead. But it's really important you do not lose this sense of excitement. There will be possibilities. There will be adventures. And there will be a future. Why am I so sure? I tell you why, because I'm working in Germany at the moment and we are back in audition again. I'm also working in Holland and we are back in planning for rehearsals. And I'm working in England here again and we are also working out, in fact, we're actually back in some kind of form of rehearsal. Everybody is exploring a way to move forward. Obviously, use this time now to keep working on your training, keep working on your techniques. You have to be prepared. Also, keep exploring, keep reading, keep being inquisitive. Be inquisitive about other forms of dance. Be inquisitive about artists, other artists. Never forget, you are artists. You are the storytellers. You are the future. Keep reality in your head, but keep your dreams in your souls. Congratulations to all of you on your graduation.
Hi everyone, I'm Martin. I'm now the Director of Research and Postgraduate Programs, but I think you've invited me today to say a few words because for the first 2 years of your program, I was leading the undergraduate degree. And I just want to say it's a real pleasure and privilege and an honour to say a few things about the class of 2020. I've just listened to Sir Bob Cohan's message for you, and I found it very inspiring and quite remarkable that at 95, he can look back and say that that dance has given him a wonderful way to live a life. I mean, how amazing is that? I'm hoping that at 95, I can also say the same thing, and I hope that for you. I'm sure if I stopped you in a studio over the past 3 years and said, "Are you living a wonderful life?" You probably would have just looked at me funny. And I'm sure if you'd asked me, "Are you living a wonderful life?" I probably would have just made an excuse and then locked myself in my office. So it's not that every single day is wonderful. It's hard, it's complicated. You have to face yourself, sometimes literally in a mirror, and you have to really deal with being present in your body for yourself and for other people, and that's sometimes exhausting. It's also joyful, but it's people who don't do it don't understand how complicated it is. So I applaud you just for getting through these 3 years. And for me, it's definitely been worth it. I've been really blessed by this job and being able to spend that time with you as young artists. I think for me, one of the things that's been happening during lockdown has been a real time of reflection. I've been thinking through what on earth is the point of contemporary dance? And it's a time when we've been really affirming the networks of care that we all depend upon, where we've been celebrating essential workers. And we've also been really critically examining social injustice, racial violence, and inequality. So then, how do we fit contemporary dance into that? Because you haven't been training for the past 3 years to be able to save people's lives. You haven't been training how to grow food or make houses to shelter and nourish people. But I think you have been exploring what it is that makes a life worth living. And I think that's what art does, and that's why we have culture. I know that's a very grand claim, and sometimes all you were doing was getting up in the morning and really, it was a success if you got yourself in for the 8:45 class. But I think the qualities that you've learned are really those around what it is to lead a good life. And Lisa has also mentioned some of those qualities. In preparing for this talk, I spoke to some of the choreographers who have been working with you in the past few weeks. And all of them have said how much they've been moved by your commitment, by your openness to investigate what it might mean in this strange way of relating through these squares, and how they've been learning as much from you as you have from them. So I just wanted to read something that Leah Marievich sent. And she's talking about her group, but I think the things that she says apply to all of you. And she says, "Hey, darling," me, in only the few short weeks where I've had the privilege to meet and to collaborate with the third years, I have been totally struck by their collective resilience, embodied passion, and empowered critical minds. I have felt honoured to be on the receiving end of their patience, positivity, and real talk. Witnessing their care for one another and their care towards me has engendered a space of solace, community, and brave creativity. I have been saying to them already that I can't wait to meet them after July in the working world. Not returning it to normal, but pushing it through the dances of these powerful people to expand, grow, and change it for the better. Love you all. That's such a wonderful testament to you all, and I really echo all of the sentiments that she wrote there, and I'm sure the rest of the faculty do. So yeah, I hope that these 3 years feel like it's been worth it. I hope you feel like you can go out into the world and make a claim that contemporary dance is important, it needs support, it has value, and that potentially offers a wonderful way to live a life. I think now I'm going to hand over to Sasha Rubicek, who's going to do a call of your names, and we're also going to watch a montage of all of your creative work, which seems very fitting. So thank you and good luck with everything.
Jordan Allen, Milo Aylward, Audrey Berger, Bonnie Boggyer, Erin Brooke, Tanya Chua, João Costa, Benjamin Curtis, Pierre Davaluz, Rebecca Douglas, Margarita Giuliodori, Angelina Gorgeva, Delilah Grocott Kane, Zacharias Harry, Bethany Hayes, James Healy, Alexander Henderson, Tasha Hess Neustadt, Thomas Hodgkins Kosler, Emma Iskowitz, Evie Jackson, Lauren Jenkins, Thea Gallard Gaddafor Mull, Neve Keeling, Evie Knunen, Saskia Larkham, Freya Lawson, Abigail Lewis, Riley Lynch, Taya Maldoom, Amanda Martin, Kate McConnon, Esme McGee, Venla Nitma, Andre Nistor, Hannah Ornsby, Annabelle Peach, Zara Pfeiffer, Georgina Pini, Bethan Probert, Yasmin Roberts, Maya Luna Ruiz Casper, Piers Saunders, Talia Seeley, Alyssa Senna, Daisy May Smith, Ella Sophocledes, Jessica van der Koot, Vera van Hennen, Verity Wright, Joshua Yates,
Hello class of 2020. My name is Alifa Antonia and I'm a freelance dance artist and LCDS alumni. Firstly, I just want to say a huge congratulations to each one of you. I know more than anything how much hard work and dedication it takes to get to this point, and I can only applaud you for your additional perseverance within this strenuous time. I've prepared a few words for you today and I hope in some way they can be of help as you begin to move forward. Having graduated from LCDS in 2017, I then joined the postgraduate company Verve, graduating in 2018. Since then, I've been working as a freelance dance artist in various capacities. Initially, freelance life felt incredibly overwhelming, like trying to construct this elaborate puzzle when the box came without an image to follow. The fragmented and uncertain nature of employment and an absence of clear indicators of progression in comparison to life in training was challenging to adjust to. Independence of thought and action needed to be cultivated quickly. And in my first year, I also had to work in hospitality and front of house at the place in between my dance employment. Over the last 2 years, however, I have worked in various companies with various choreographers and independent artists across the UK and abroad. As a dancer, I am currently with Russell Malaphant Dance Company, James Wilton Dance and James Cousins Company. And I've also been developing my own independent work and practice with the support from organisations around the UK. However, through this, I was often overcome with a lot of self-doubt, dealing with both failures and successes on public and private levels. Last year, I also briefly went back into education to complete my master's degree, aiming to refocus my practice on specific experiences I had within training and my time in the industry so far. As 2020 came and COVID-19 emerged, I was in the middle of touring, writing my first Arts Council bid and planning for various projects that were meant to be happening over the course of the year. Like for all of us, the current pandemic hit me hard. It seems impossible to talk about the idea of graduating currently without first acknowledging how the current socio-political and economic climate has and will continue to affect the art sector you're graduating into. As we all endeavour to be resilient in the wake of COVID, and as the persistent systemic issue of racial inequality and many other forms of inequality are brought to the forefront of our minds. On a personal and collective level, there seems to be an overarching sense of uncertainty, but also a realization that it is not about going back to normal, but about re-evaluating and reconstructing the ideas of normal we have perhaps held for far too long. I'm aware that for some this pause is nothing more than disruptive. Like being in a Zoom meeting where all our screens are frozen and we're just waiting around for the connection to get better, so that everyone can get back to the work at hand exactly where we left off. However, within this pause, I've realized that only within some form of stillness that we are really able to re-evaluate and question our choices. If I've learnt anything from my career this far, it is that both restrictions and frustrations can sometimes be miraculous invitations for you to truly cultivate your thoughts, values, and your voice both in a physical, verbal, and intellectual sense, finding new ways of being, seeing, and working. For your time at LCDS, you have learnt to be dancers. But through all the skills you have learnt, you have also learnt to be so much more than that as well. Among you, there are dancers, there are creators, there are thinkers, there are activists, there are researchers, there are trailblazers, there are facilitators, there are curators, and there are leaders. And all the skills that you have learnt, all the challenges you have faced, all contribute towards the possibilities of what you can be. You are more valuable than you realise. And as the industry is shifting, you have the opportunity to influence those shifts. I hope as you step into this new chapter, you are all able to exist in your fullness, your uniqueness, and respect and support the differences in others. I am so glad that another cohort of artists are joining us. You are needed in more ways than you know, and I'm excited to see all the amazing things that you will bring.
Thank you, Alithia, for your moving speech and for your especially critical voice. So if I can take you back to 2017, if you can remember that far back, you all arrived here at LCDS at the same time as me. We were all in at the deep end. It was all new and challenging. And in that time, I have followed and watched and enjoyed hearing and seeing your journeys from a distance. It is a hazard of being in a leadership role that you are not in the studio as you might wish, but at every step of the way, I have heard and seen your voices and your work, be it live or online, and you have never ever failed to inspire. In those 3 years, the class of 2020, you have taken the student voice to new heady heights, most ably spearheaded by Alyssa Senna, not just within LCDS, but also within the Conservatoire for Dance and Drama, but also with the Place Board, where Alyssa has been an observer. And so I would like to thank Alyssa, but I'd also like to thank all the student reps who take on this incredible voluntary role. They step into the unknown and make the student experience all the more rich and certainly more relevant. So to Alyssa, Rebecca, Venla, Georgina, thank you. And to the BA1s and BA2s, Isis Clooney, Maddie Cole, Leah Dickerson, Evie Jackson, Anouk Joanne, Saskia Larcom, Fiona McBride, Ema McKeever, James Scott Berry, Kitty Pilgrim Morris, Nasa Essart Nielsen, Felisa Verbon, thank you. So finally to the Principals Award. This award was set up by my predecessor Veronica, and something that both she and I feel really passionate about, which is to recognise students who have made an extra special contribution to the community and life of the school and the place. In 2020, the 2 recipients are Rebecca Douglas for her galvanising artistic and organisation leadership of FEMSOC. And in the tradition of passing on the baton to someone stepping into the 3rd year, the 2nd award is to Isis Clooney for her leadership with the student blog in support of the development of critical thinking. This is a leavers ceremony. It's not a graduation because our exam boards will meet in a couple of weeks, and with the results of your courses being confirmed by the University of Kent. I have it on good authority that your degree ceremony will take place in Rochester Cathedral on the 24th of November, and you'll receive more information from the University of Kent. But I would really love to see you all there. It's a fantastic way to celebrate and to reconvene with family, friends and your peers. But most of all, actually, I'm really excited to see your graduation work, and also to see you all again in the not too distant future. So I'm going to try and open this bottle of champagne so that we might celebrate together. Ugh. I'm broadcasting here from East London. I'm hoping I'm not going to put a hole in the ceiling as a result. Woo! Woo! Woohoo! Class of 2020. Cheers.